Hello, my name is Jeremiah Semien. Let me give my viewers a little brief history about my life story. When I was born, as any baby is born, they're usually helpless. And I think when you get older, like the elderly, you kind of need assistance as well. Well, as I was born and as I grew up, I wanted to be in the entertainment business. I think a lot of children today might want to be in the entertainment business sometimes so that they can be able to do something with their life, or in my case, have something that they can prove that they're able to do something. Now I know a lot of people sometimes go to a college, a university. Some people go to a technical school or vocational school. And I think some people just have that instinct that they want to be an artist, like I am. And it's not easy to be in the entertainment business. This is a hard business to get into. But once you get into it, then it's easier. It gets a little easier. I think so. I don't know about anybody else, but I think it does get a little easier. So as I take my journey into this business, I'm learning a few things in life, which probably a lot of people are learning as you get older. Okay. As I was growing up, I was basically the outcast, if you want to think about it. I was the one that a lot of people really didn't like. I was the type of person that a lot of people really didn't want to be around. I suppose that being in that situation, I guess I had to come up with what's called a make-believe world. And as I started to come up with this world, it's hard. I think it's hard for a lot of people, especially a lot of children in this world. When you're trying to do something, a lot of people don't understand what you're doing, or a lot of people don't really care. And I think that it makes it difficult for a child to really understand. So growing up, I only had a brother, a mother, and a grandmother. So I guess a lot of people emulate what they see, or children emulate what they see. I suppose without a father figure, I guess I was kind of starting to get feminine characteristics. And I think that's why my mother supposedly married the ex-stepfather figure. So I guess you can call him that, sort of. And by being a teenager and going through life, being physically abused, I suppose that's another thing, especially as a teenager, has to think about. So, being a kid growing up in a country town in Louisiana, in Lawtell, Louisiana, really, and I suppose trying to be a man, does it mean that it really makes a person wonder that even though you try to be somebody, a lot of people want you to be somebody else. They want to mold you into someone else. And I think that is exactly what was happening. But in return, what happened is it doesn't change what's inside of a person, especially inside of a person's mind. And I wondered, and I think a lot of people wonder why things happen the way they do. Sometimes I always wonder why, I suppose, good things happen to good people or decent people. And sometimes either you find the answer, or either you're gonna find the answer that the good Lord let things happen, or you'll find an answer where you don't really understand why He's letting things happen. I mean, you have to, I guess, put yourself in His shoes and wonder why. I suppose things do happen for a reason, but the reason is unknown to mankind. And as you think about it, sometimes you don't want to think about things. It's too difficult to think about it. I mean, growing up, trying to be a man, knowing that I have probably a lot of my viewers and my readers know, if you ever read my autobiography, it's kind of, I guess, difficult to really understand anyone. Well, here's a little summary. If you think about getting King of Music, you'll kind of understand that a little part of my life. And also, if you get the memoirs of Jeremiah, you'll understand as well. So, a lot of people will tell you a little bit about me, but I'm going to tell you a few little things. I used to date a lot of young ladies. I think, if I wasn't mistaken, 3 young ladies that I knew of, I was dating. Not at the same time, at different times. So, I guess it kind of makes you wonder why I didn't stay with them. I had someone tell me, if you really love somebody, you'd stick it out with them. Yeah, I suppose so. But I had one of my girlfriends cheated on me, so I didn't stick it out. And as a child, I've done a lot of stuff. I remember playing with some little green men, plastic. And they had some plastic farm animals. I remember playing G.I. Joe, Super Friends, especially with my brother and a cousin of mine. I also remember doing little films, different type of movies. I also remember many things that probably would be in the autobiographies. I remember as a kid sometimes being ugly, disobedient. Sometimes I am today, I guess, kind of ugly or disobedient. And it's not that I want to. Sometimes when people in this world do you wrong, sometimes it's hard to forgive. But I know that everybody in the world should forgive, but it's just harder for me to really forgive somebody, I suppose. But I think later on I am learning to forgive them and moving on with my life. But I remember exactly what they did to me. But I suppose if you forgive, you're supposed to forgive and forget. And I guess I'm forgiven, but it's hard for me to forget. And I think that that's probably what Jesus does for us. Is forgive and forget. And that's something we as human beings, it's hard for us to do. Or it's hard for us to understand. So as I think about some of the things, even if you read the story, The Strange and Weird Fact Files, you'll kind of get a sense of what I was saying in the entertainment business. I can recall in my lifetime where there are two questions people really ask me. First of all, your racial background, or your race or your color. And some people might look at me and think I'm a white boy. I've had people think I'm Latino, Hispanic. Some people see me with my beard and they probably think I'm from overseas. You can see I'm one of these people from the Middle East. Some people look at me and think, oh well, that either I'm a yellow bone or whatever they could think of, which is in their minds. And the second thing people want to know is my sexual orientation. I think that's the two things people really are trying to figure out. And I'm a type of person, I don't usually tell people my sexual orientation. They don't need to know about it. But in the long run, I think if you read my autobiographies, then you will kind of understand exactly my sexual orientation. And I think my viewers already know, or if they don't, I'm bi. I started to think maybe I'm not, and that I was gay, but still in all, I feel that my sexual orientation has nothing to do, and my racial background has nothing to do with who I am. I remember that I took care of my grandmother when she said she had got cancer and died, so I kind of understand there. I even remember how as a kid that I think being in a fantasy world kind of took me away from what was reality, or the things that reality had exactly. See, in reality, a lot of people don't want to admit certain things. And I guess when I became a teenager and I was still in the fantasy world, it kind of helped me leave this world behind, the reality of this world. I remember always enjoying myself. I remember going to high school for the first time, Northwest High. I went to Lawtell Elementary from kindergarten to 8th grade. I think I had failed kindergarten. I think I did. And my mother didn't want me to repeat it. And I remember failing 4th grade and I had to repeat it. So as I went from kindergarten to 8th grade, I even went to Lawtell Head Start. I remember my mother used to walk me over there to Head Start. And I liked going there, especially for the food. We even had a chance to take a nap in this school, so I kind of liked it. But I think every child really doesn't like school. Who does? What child does? That's the question. Okay, as I started writing, I think I started understanding the reality of the business, because I'm an artist. I write poems, stories. I even write screenplays or scripts. I write a lot of short stories or short novels, or novelists or full-length novels. I even write songs, lyrics, music. I even do a lot of film. I'm also a filmmaker. I create a lot of films, basically. And I think doing a lot of these things in the business that it kind of gives me a sense of I can do more than one thing. I have more than one talent. If you think about it, I think people in any business needs to have more than one talent. I believe so. Because that gives you a chance to do other things, have other experiences in this world. I think I remember also that I was degraded a lot. And I think that kind of hurts a lot of people in this world when you degrade somebody. So it's hard for me to even think about it. I think as I was growing up and wondering where I was going to live, who I was going to stay with, I was really glad that my grandmother, who left me the house, which is now being turned to, it was turned to a church word ministries, then it became a children's church, and now it's a men's shelter. And I'm very glad I have the property that I have, and also she left me I think it's an Isuzu car, if I'm not mistaken. But whatever it is she left me, I appreciate. Even I had the belongings inside the house, so I do appreciate that. I think anyone would appreciate someone giving them something. And I think by working at these different jobs, like Walmart in Opelousas, Louisiana, Winn-Dixie in Opelousas, Louisiana, and Winn-Dixie in Eunice, Louisiana, and working at a stage in Opelousas, Louisiana, working at LSUE in Eunice, Louisiana, also working at Races and Aces in Louisiana, in Eunice, Louisiana, and Evangeline Downs in Opelousas, Louisiana, then to Gold Rush in Nuba, Louisiana, and now working at a nursing home in Eunice, Louisiana, which is Eunice Manor. So I feel as though these different jobs, besides me being a mystery shopper, besides me doing research for companies, I think these abilities help me learn that in life you have to have a lot of experience doing some stuff. I feel that sometimes in this business you're going to be lonely like I am. Sometimes loneliness is just a part of the business, part of life sometimes. I think it's hard to find someone that understands who a person is, especially an artist. It's hard for someone else who's not in the entertainment business to understand somebody. I also learned that in life, sometimes some people have favorite people in life, or people are picked or chosen or whatever, especially in companies. When you work for a company and a lot of people don't let you do certain things, but they let other people do certain things, they have privileges that you don't. I think that's unfair in any company, with every company, should I say. I also think that when people look at you as an artist, they believe that's who you are. They don't think of you as a human being. A lot of them think you as a cash cow, money maker. That's what some people believe you to be. Okay, as some of the viewers might know, I've had an out-of-body experience, a spiritual experience if you want to call it. And if you read my autobiography, you'll get the whole sense of trying to understand what I was looking at, or should I say my spirit was looking at. I feel that everybody has a spirit. It's kind of hard for people to understand the spiritual world because it's so much to understand. And I think our carnal mind or our physical mind doesn't understand it. It's just like a lot of people don't understand our emotional side. Because as human beings, we think emotionally and not rationally. There's a difference. I feel as though sometimes, some people have it a little easier than I am. People might look at me and think I have it easier than they do. But I suppose it's the perception of a person's mind, the way they look at other people. Because a lot of people view other people as, well, this person is okay, that person might be not okay. Everybody have flaws. And I think that's the flaws is something we should embrace. Because you never know, as a person, we are not trying to understand one another. I believe we're trying to degrade one another. As I said before, we're trying to hurt each other. People in this world have a lot of anger, bitterness, hatred, and those are things that can rob you of who you are. And I think it does rob me from everything I've done. I think hooking up with a lot of different artists around the world gave me a chance to be a business person, a businessman that I am. I think that was something I needed to understand in the business. I really wanted to, I think, just be an artist. But I had to learn the business side of it. And I think learning from my past, that I've learned many things. Even if you get a chance to get the audio book of my autobiography as well, which kind of gives you a brief summary of my life story as well. I think with that and the two novels, The King of Music and the Memoirs of Jeremiah, I think you can kind of piece it together. See, when I was working on a document about mankind, usually what I do is I do a lot of research to find out exactly what's going on with people in general. Because you want to know exactly what's going on, what they're doing, how they're doing it. And you want to piece together every culture as much as possible and put it in your own words or summarize it in your own words. Because I feel as though the Bible is part of history, but you have to read other cultures and their history to put everything together. I think at the end of anybody's life, or should I say at the end of this section of your life, whatever, like my section was, I was 35. I am 35 really. And I think that was the end of this section of my life. Besides doing all kind of other things that I either was good or not good for me. So I think that learning from what we've done, especially as humans, especially myself, learning that I need to get away from certain people, because certain people can bring you down, certain people can make you feel like shit, I guess, or like or screwed up, messed up, whatever. And I feel as though some people that they gossip a lot, talk a lot, probably sometimes I do, they hate someone, so they want other people to hate them. If you're around all these negative people, then I feel that you become negative. And to become a positive person, I think you need to be around people who are positive. I think that's the main thing in life.